The train screeched to a halt at the city's downtown terminal just past 6:45 a.m. Amara Fields stepped off, gripping a worn leather satchel that had once belonged to her grandfather. The city's steel skyline rose like a giant before her, gleaming, fast, loud. It was a far cry from the slow red clay roads of the rural Mississippi town she came from. She walked with purpose, her modest heels tapping against the pavement, each step echoing a quiet determination. Her dress was clean but simple, her hair natural and tightly coiled, pinned into a tidy bun. She didn't wear expensive jewelry, no designer purse, just confidence that came from long nights of studying, sacrifice, and grit. As she entered the grand glass tower of Nexus Tech, a woman at the reception desk looked up and gave her a glance that lasted a second too long. "Deliveries are made through the service entrance," the receptionist said, without even confirming who she was. Amara smiled politely. "I'm not here for a delivery." The receptionist's expression stiffened. "If you're here for onboarding or intern orientation, please go around the back. The main lobby is reserved today. We're expecting corporate leadership." Amara's fingers tightened slightly around the strap of her satchel, but she didn't argue. Instead, she offered a quiet "thank you" and stepped aside. She glanced up at the large Nexus Tech digital banner hanging in the lobby. Innovation meets inclusion. The irony wasn't lost on her. Taking a side elevator, she headed up, straight to the executive floor. When the doors opened to the 18th floor, she was met with sleek grey furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows, and the soft hum of morning meetings. Just beginning. People buzzed past her, dressed in sharp suits, holding lattes with branded sleeves. As she walked toward the main conference area, a tall, white man in his 50s looked her over. He chuckled. "Lost, sweetheart. Orientations. Downstairs with the new hires." Before she could answer, another woman chimed in from the copy room. "She's probably shadowing HR or facilities. We've got meetings up here this morning." Amara paused. She turned to them with a calm look, not of anger, just clarity. "I know where I'm going, thank you." She walked past them and into the glass conference room, where department heads were gathering. As she approached the head of the table and took a seat, a younger employee looked up nervously. Sorry, are you with catering?" Amara didn't even blink. She placed her folder neatly in front of her, crossed her hands, and waited. The room went still. Whispers began. That's when the double doors opened, and everything changed. Tall, silver-haired man stepped into the room. Gregory Langston, the founder and chairman of Nexus Tech. Everyone stood as a formality, some adjusting their ties, others checking their posture. But Greg's eyes went straight to Amara. A huge smile broke across his face as he strode toward her. "There she is," he said, throwing an arm around her shoulder like he would an old friend. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Amara Fields, our new CEO." The room froze. You could practically hear the air shift. The man who had dismissed her at the coffee station lowered his cup slowly, color draining from his face. The woman from the copier turned a shade paler and quietly backed toward her chair. A few mouths dropped open. No one even attempted to hide it. Amara stood up slowly, adjusted the cuff of her sleeve, and faced the room with complete composure. "I want to thank Mr. Langston for trusting me with this responsibility," she began, her voice firm but calm. "You don't know me yet. That's okay. But you should know this. I didn't come here to play a part. I came to lead." She walked toward the screen at the front of the room, connected her laptop, and brought up her first slide. From the dirt to the cloud, building tech where it's needed most. For those who thought I was the help, the intern, or someone who wandered in from the wrong floor, I get it. You didn't see a leader when you looked at me, but the world is changing, and so is this company. I grew up in a place where internet access was a luxury, where kids shared textbooks 3 at a time. I taught myself code from library books and earned a scholarship by cleaning classrooms after school." She turned, her eyes sweeping the room. "And I've spent the last decade building systems your departments rely on, solving problems that saved this company millions, not from a penthouse office, but from the back room no one ever notices." Silence, and then, slowly, a single clap. It came from one of the younger managers, a woman who hadn't laughed earlier. Then another clap. Then the whole room joined in, though some did so hesitantly. Applause filled the room, not because it was expected, but because Amara had just taken control of it without raising her voice or name-dropping her resume. By the end of the meeting, everything had changed. Employees who had barely acknowledged her that morning now lined up to shake her hand. Some did so out of politeness, others out of guilt. But one young black engineer, barely 25, approached her quietly. "I saw how they treated you this morning," he said, eyes lowered. I didn't think someone like you would ever make it up here." Amara smiled gently. "That's why I had to." Later that evening, as she stood alone by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the city glow beneath her, she thought of home, of dusty fields, slow internet, and long nights with textbooks and broken sleep. They had expected a girl from the country to cower. Instead, they got a CEO who had already learned how to lead in silence, rise through doubt, and turn humiliation into a standing ovation.